Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here with another interesting topic. Yeah, that's verbal communication. So far we discussed the types of communication based on their classifications, right? So far we discussed the classification of communication based on relationship, organizational structure, and direction. And now we people are entering a new topic, that is how we can classify the communication based on the channels. Through channel also we can classify. That classification is going to be dealt in detail now. The first one is, on the basis of the channels we can classify the communication into two different topics, that is verbal and non-verbal. Okay, based on the channels the communication has been classified as verbal and non-verbal. In this video we people will discuss the verbal communication in detail. What does mean by verbal communication? It's a type of oral communication wherein the message is transmitted through the spoken words. Here, the sender gives words to his feelings, thoughts, ideas, and opinions and expresses all those things in the form of speeches, discussions, presentations, and conversation. So, that is verbal communication. The effectiveness of verbal communication, it depends on the tone of speaker, clarity of speech, volume, speed, body language, and the quality of words which is being used in the conversation. In the case of verbal communication, the feedback is immediate since there are a simultaneous transmission and receipt of the message by the sender and the receiver respectively. Such communication is more prone to errors as sometimes the words are not sufficient to express the feelings and emotions of a person. So, the success of the verbal communication depends on not only the speaking ability of an individual but also on the listening skills. So, we should be very clear with this thought that the success, it not only depends on the speaking ability, it also depends on the listening skill. Okay, and this thing can also be further classified. This verbal communication can also be further classified into oral and written communication. So let's see that also in detail now. What's meant by oral communication? It is the ability to transmit ideas from our brain to either one person or a group of people. A good use of verbal skills means presenting an idea clearly while each thought is articulated in a cohesive manner. It has everything to do with the language that we choose to use. That is oral communication. And the next thing is written communication. So, here, written communication involves any type of interaction that makes use of the written words. It is the key to any endeavor involving more than one person. Why? What is this use of this thing? That is, written communication is a form of verbal communication, but it is so different than spoken verbal communication. And it can take the form of anything you write or type, such as letters, emails, notes, texts, billboards, even a message written in the sky. That should be called as written communication. And here we discussed what is meant by oral communication and what's meant by written communication, and before that we started the verbal communication alone. In the upcoming video we people will discuss what is meant by non-verbal communication also. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, guys.